Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Kiodiekin. So I have some important news or updates for you in regards to Arcade 1UP and the emulator they're using, which is FlyCast DOJO. Been following this story, especially ever since they announced the game at EVO. And there's some certain particulars I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, especially for you consumers out there either considering getting this, or if you are on the fence and you don't want to wait for your 30 days to expire and you're really unsure about how the online gameplay will work, and if Arcade 1UP can fix some of the current issues going on with the cabinet. Now, the reason for this video, I don't like people to be uninformed. I love all of my subscribers and people who consider subscribing to be fully informed about what it is they're getting themselves into. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the hardest games to emulate because they have so many different variations and combos. But one of the things I definitely want to point out to you guys today is this is something you should be concerned about. And again, in my lingo, this is what I would call experimental. The FlyCast DOJO is a fork or branch off of RideCast, and all the videos and everything that you've pretty much seen on the internet on a single board computer has either been FlyCast or I'm sorry, not FlyCast, it's been either Redream or RideCast. And I've had this emulated perfectly, running perfectly fine on Redream for the past 3 or 4 years. And so what you're looking at right now, this is the GitHub for FlyCast DOJO. Now, this emulator is only 2 years old, but what I want you to pay attention to is somebody put in a request for November 9th, 2021. Bring FlyCast DOJO to Android for net play on phones and on Android-based arcade machines. The reason why this is important is I'm sure Arcade 1UP had a license for this some time ago, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And so it should be of interest. And I just want to point out here that you should have a working demo or already know what you're going to use in accordance with that license. Now, maybe they discussed Redream and decided not to go with it but honestly, Redream doesn't have light gun support and it doesn't have net play support. But FlyCast DOJO does. But however, this is brand new and it's never been tested or really used on Android. In fact, the only people currently using FlyCast or Android or DOJO on any type of single board computer would be you, the consumer, which was just recently announced back in August. And now you have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 sitting in your home since September. And so another thing I definitely just want to point out here for you guys. Let's go ahead and I want to pull up this Google search here. As you can see, there's only 3 available search pages. There's no videos, there's no tutorials, there's nothing showing any type of issues or if this has been true, tried, and tested. What I mean by true, tried, and tested, for example, when I look at MAME, and if you ever want to see any issues with MAME whatsoever, whether bugs have been worked out or so forth, you have some history there. You have 20 years of history to see a lot of things been fixed, sound issues, at least 4 or 5 years. But there's no issues at all. This is brand spanking new. The thing that I definitely want to stress here in this video is that you don't have a number of years where either hobbyists or people in the community have used this in any shape, way, form, or fashion. In fact, there's somebody blasting them about how they compile everything with FlyCast DOJO. And so whatever Arcade 1UP is doing, they're compiling this themselves. And so I was speaking to some of the other devs in the community, and one of them pointed out that there is no official FlyCast support. Whoever started this, they disbanded some time ago. And so whoever these gentlemen are, if you guys will look on the GitHub and working on this and adding code, as far as you know, it could be me. It could be members of Supreme Team, Team ORA, guys on CoinOps contributing to programs like this. And so what happens is you have people in the community, I think there's like about 60, maybe 70 guys who are hobbyists, who are contributing code to something like this. But again, none of this stuff has been tested. I mean, obviously it's running on PC, total different architecture. You guys are using this for FlyCade, but there's no examples. There's none in the community, any that I could find, using Android and FlyCast DOJO successfully or successfully or unsuccessfully. There are some issues as far as different hiccups and things that they've had in past, but this definitely shines light onto the issues of why Arcade 1UP could not give you an estimated time as far as when they could get this running, is because Everything that they're doing is brand new. There's no years of research. There's no years of testing. For example, if I came out with a system tomorrow and told you I was using MAME and running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and even if it was running a little bit slower or whatever the case might be, you at least have a track history through MAME and other single board computers and other front ends that say, okay, well, you know, Keo, yeah, we'll work with you because we know this can work, but just, you know, get it to where it needs to be. You don't have that opportunity here with FlyCast DOJO on Android with Arcade1Up because there's nothing for you to reference. Everything that's being done, everything that they've promised, everything that they've put out in front of you is all experimental. And I said this in some of my other previous videos, is that this is an experiment. But again, 2 years is definitely not enough time. Again, this is working on PC, but as you saw in November, there was no working FlyCast Android as of November 9th, 2021. Now down here, a guy named Blue Minder, I believe he's one of the guys running this forum. If you look at the actions on this tab repository, there is an Android build, but the features are incomplete. Now this was in May 15th last year. This was just 4 months before the announcement of Evo. Again, something like this, you want to see 3 or 4 years of history. I showed you guys videos of Redream running on somebody's tablet and cell phone, but that was back in 2018. So you have some documentation there. What were their issues? Did they fix them? You know, what settings did they use? This is not promising, and this should not this shouldn't happen, and this should cause you to have some type of concern, because again, when you're working on a single board computer, it's entirely different than PC, and there's nothing here that would guarantee you any type of support in the future as to not whether it would run correctly or run correctly without hiccups or issues. You know, as a working in the emulation and working in the retro gaming, I could promise you, like on PC or certain specs or whatnot, you know, that yeah, it should run without issue, you should be fine, whatnot, but there's no track record here. There's no previous circumstances here where you could reference to say they'll get it right just like this because they had it working right on something else. Entirely new emulator. I know a lot of you, and I expressed this too in my previous live stream, were wondering if the board was compatible or not, or strong enough to run it. Yeah, most of the hardware that you have since 2015 can run Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in a lot of games, but the issue is the emulator. And again, this is the cause. I want you guys to see this for yourself, just how brand new this is. You have members of the community, or you know, this is I'm not sure who this is, but yeah, this is a weird request Android-based arcade machines. November 9th, 2021, and one of the guys working on the team is giving an answer May 15th of this year that there was no Android build or features were incomplete. So this is what Arcade1Up is working on, is picking up this project because this is the only thing that can run Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on a single board interface with online capabilities. Now, for those of you who are happy with it and say, oh, well, okay, you know, like even if they never got it working fine, I'm happy with what it is. Fine. Let's say, for example, they never got online working, period. Then you should have hoped or wished that they would have used Redream, because Redream has no issues. The issues that you guys are currently experiencing with sound issues, hiccups, and delays, that emulator has been tried, true, and tested. But again, it has no light gun, it has no online support. But even still, as a local emulator for local online gameplay, that is the emulator that they should have went with, that has been around for quite some time and can easily be troubleshooted, and there is official support for it. But all in all, I definitely wanted to point this out to you because as a consumer, if for those of you keeping your cabinet, or you know, you're expiring your 30-day return policy, but fortunately it's Christmas time, most stores are giving you until January 14th. And right now, Arcade1Up, you know, Justin Wong and the rest of them did say that they finally had an online working build to test. This is where you could see a lot of these notes. Now, they do have their own little thing that they are working on that is in-house, but this is the branch that they did pull it from. In fact, if any of you wanted to download FlyCast DOJO onto, let's say, your Pi 4, run it, seeing how successfully it would run on that with an Android-based operating system, you'll have a better idea. I thought about doing this myself. I still may do it, but again, this is all new to them. This is all new for the community, and unfortunately, people shouldn't be left in this position, wondering if and when or if it might work. And again, my time frame for them is 6 to 8 months, but there are plenty of people saying in the backgrounds that they may not ever get this working. And so as far as this phase, unfortunately for you consumer, I'm sorry, but you are being used as an experiment. This is brand new territory while they try to figure this out. Again, this is not 15 years or 10 years of an emulator that has been used by multiple people in the community, where you can watch videos, go in some of the forums, ask questions, where, you know, did you have hiccups? Did you have issues here? No. Again, all this is brand new. Definitely wanted to point this out for all of my subscribers and followers. Make sure you subscribe to my public Facebook page, because I did show some of this information, but this is something you should be aware of just in case, in terms of what emulators they're using. And I wish I could speak a little bit more on NFL Blitz, because I'm not sure what emulator they are using. There are questions here in regards to FlyCast DOJO 4-player support. Another interesting question that was just recently asked within the past 2 months. So this is something you guys can pay attention to. I will post links to this in the description of this video. That will give you a better understanding as far as what's going on. But yeah, I wish I could speak more about NFL Blitz in terms of their emulation. But furthermore, I did find my videos that I did record a couple of years ago with my game Marvel vs. Capcom 2 using the Redream or Recast emulator, up to 240 frames or so per second. And again, one of the things that I definitely wanted to point out and show you guys is that if the true FPS of the game is being mentioned, because they did speed up the emulator, and I know many of you mentioned this with NFL Blitz, and they are claiming that it's running at 60 FPS. It's not really running at 60 FPS if they did speed up the emulator. So as you guys can tell here, I sped up the emulator. I am reaching anywhere between 118 to 240 frames per second, because the game is sped up. And again, typically you only do that to cover deficiencies if the game is running too slow, there's hiccups or lag in certain issues. And so speeding it up will allow you to kind of cover up some of those issues. But again, you can tell with your visual eye that the game is sped up. It does erase some of the original gameplay, but if you're basing the true FPS off of that, again, this is like fast forwarding a video. Is not running at 60 FPS or 240 frames per second if the emulator is sped up. But again, guys, consider liking and subscribing. Want to give you this important update for those of you who have been asking me questions about this and who do have some concerns, so that way you understand things better themselves. Again, 4 years, 5 years is what I call a good sound emulator. This is all brand new, and unfortunately, you as the consumer are waiting. You're waiting in the dark while they try to figure this out. And again, even as the hobbyist community, again, nobody knows because there's no videos on this. And the latest composition and latest report from one of the guys working on the team is it wasn't working as of May 15th, and there were some issues with it. So with that being said, this is Kiodiekin. I'm signing out. I will catch you guys later. You guys all have a great day. Peace out. Bye-bye.